Zack Polanski is a leader of the Green Party. He wants to see a world without borders and, until that happens, have what he calls a fair system of immigration where people can move if they wish to do so.
It's important to remember we're talking about people, and this is personal to me, and I know it'll be personal to many people watching this program. My great-grandparents lived in Latvia. They're Jewish, and we fled because of pogroms. We ended up in Ukraine. We fled again, more pogroms. Then in Nazi-occupied Poland, then fled again. And this is what people have done throughout history. They have fled because they've moved because of war or persecution, or they've moved because of people they love or that they want to travel.
And do you think there should be any limits on those numbers? Judging from your manifesto, you don't.
Well, I think we need to be really clear about the numbers. This year, 800,000 people have arrived in this country. 400,000 of them have come to study. 300,000 of them have come to work and are a net contribution to our tax system.
Yes, but that's answering a different question.
Well,
the question I'm asking you, Zack, is do you believe, because judging from what the Greens say, though quite often you shy away from it for saying it in public, but what is written down is that you believe in a world without borders, therefore anyone who wants to come should be able to come. Is that correct?
So what's important to know is when we talk about those numbers, we're talking about a policy for a sustainable society.
You haven't actually answered that.
I'm answering you right now. This is about what it looks like in the future. Yes, in an ideal world, that is the policy I would want. I recognise, though, we are not in an ideal world. We're in a world where the world is in turmoil. We know that we have huge issues in our country. But the issues with the National Health Service, the issues with the lack of council homes, the issues with the society feeling broken are not the issues of migrants or someone who is clinging to a small boat. They are the issues of 14 years of conservative austerity, continued by a Labour government who say this is an island of strangers, but actually, you're a government of cowards because you won't tell people the truth about migration. And the truth about migration, it is a positive thing for this country. We need migration, we need fair and managed migration, and that's what will change this conversation.
Woman there.
My deputy leader's been completely consistent with what I've been saying, and the Green Party's been saying.
How is that consistent?
Hotels and army barracks are not an acceptable place to store asylum seekers like there's some sort of Amazon returns.
But we have
That's
a housing
totally dehumanising.
So where
exactly.
would you put them?
So, we have 1 million...
They give away social housing.
Let's hear this man shouting. Hang on. Yes, what are you saying?
Mr. Polanski, why is it not acceptable? Yeah. We put our army and our servicemen in there. Why can't they be in there?
Because it's a difference between someone living there for days or months or years. Now, we have 1 million empty homes.
I'm a military veteran.
Mike, let me finish rather than you chipping in. We have 1 million empty homes in this country. We have 1 million households on the waiting list. We need to build council housing. We shouldn't have a race to the bottom on migration. We should have a race to the top on public services. And when you get very wealthy parties who are looking to defend their mates, multimillionaires and billionaires, in fact, Reform took a donation today for £9 million from a crypto bro, we are being distracted by talking about immigration. So when Rachel was being very clear, she was saying migrants and refugees are welcome here, but let's not store them in army barracks. Let's make sure we have appropriate accommodation where people can be working, paying into the tax system, and we can be proud of a country that is humane and compassionate rather than running to be toxic and divisive.
And where are you going to create all these houses from, and over what period of time?
Well, we live in one of the most nature-depleted countries in the world, so we do have to protect nature, but there is also plenty of brownfield sites. Now, you'll sometimes get politicians saying this country is full, but actually only 5% of it is built on. We need to build these houses anyway, so let's stop pitting communities that were born here against people who are fleeing war and persecution, or even migrant workers, and let's actually say, when we build these houses for local communities rather than property developers who can land bank and sit on assets, but actually build homes that people can live in. This is how we integrate communities. This is how we change the conversation. Let's change the conversation on migration, and let's start right now. I've said a few times tonight about open borders, despite the fact that I've contradicted that and said that I want to talk about fair and managed migration. And the reason why I want to do that...
because open borders is part of your policy.
It's in your manifesto. Hold on, it's not in our manifesto.
Have you read it?
Zach, it is not as we speak.
Have you read your manifesto?
Have you noticed how rattled they all are by the Green Party? Because actually what I'm talking about is something very pragmatic.
I don't think so.
We have an aging...
Have you read your manifesto?
Am I going to be allowed to talk?
Just ask the question.
We have an aging population.
Well, he hasn't.
We've had a declining birth rate, the lowest birth rate for the last 3 years. And ultimately, we have pensions to pay. So we've got people coming over here who, on average, as a migrant worker, are contributing £100,000 over the time, then going back to their home country and not taking out of our system. So they are a net benefit. Most people in this audience and watching this at home will have had an experience of a care worker. 1 in 5 care workers are foreign nationals. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly want to wipe someone's bum. And I'm very grateful for the people who do this work, this really important work, whether it's in the care sector, whether it's in the NHS. Now, I met with the leadership of the BMA recently, the British Medical Association. It's not true that 50% of doctors can't get jobs. That's after 1 month. Now, that's okay, not okay. We need to work on it. But it's not the problem of migrants. We need to listen to people. And next week, I'm going to be going to Calais because I actually want to listen to the people who are having these experiences, both in terms of the boats that we're talking about, and not to go back to it too much. But the reason why people don't stop in France is a safe country, but the UK is also a safe country. And we can't expect every single migrant to stay in France. And largely, they have people from the Congo and from the Ivory Coast because of colonization. And so if people speak English, that's why they want to come to England.
But Zack, why should you take anyone that doesn't make a...
Ken, listen, I'm just putting you down.
An open border does nothing. Both of those approaches bring division. Our approach doesn't.
Margaret Thatcher said there's no such thing as society, and then the Tories over 14 years shut the community centres down. How do you expect people to integrate if they've got nowhere to gather together, to pray together, to eat together, even to disagree together? English language learning for foreign nationals has been cut by 25% over the last 10 years. The last thing I want to say, as soon as I got off the train today in Dover, a woman recognised me and she said to me, we are not obsessed with immigration in Dover. Actually, the things we care about are our NHS, our libraries and our schools. We've had an This is an immigration special, but when are we going to have a cost of living special, or a climate special, or a tax for rich special?
Well, all I would say is, on question time, I think it's probably true that we talk about cost of living every week. Yeah. So I'm not sure we need a special programme for it, because we do it every